So there's some good news and some bad news. And I'll give you the bad news first. Well, the bad news is this: the fact that I'm starting on an evening again, even though it's supposed to be at 9 a.m. So I'm starting the 9 a.m. initiative for myself, so that the stream starts at 9 every single day, no matter what, except for weekends. Weekends will be slightly different. Weekends are gonna be unpredictable because I just don't know what goes on the weekends. So, but no, weekdays, the stream starts at 9, no matter what. We gotta nail that down. Unless I'm like incredibly ill, somebody in my family is incredibly ill, or there's, I don't know, I get pulled away to go do work somewhere or a gig or something like that. It starts at 9 every day. So I apologize that this starts on the evening. Luckily, it's not too busy downstairs. It's not too busy in the apartment, so there's not much noise, which is good. The good news, though, is that for the finally, so I've been trying to get in contact with customer support for Pro Tools because since I got it on Christmas, it has not worked, and I've been trying to get in contact with these people forever. And every time they call me, I'm not at home, or like. Well, usually they call me when I'm not at home, and I'm like, I can't, we can't troubleshoot this because I'm not home. Finally, they called me today. They're home, or I'm home. We troubleshooted it. Pro Tools works now. I'm so happy. So now I can finally get to work on learning Pro Tools and taking the projects that we worked on in the first couple of weeks of streaming, recording them, throwing them in there, and editing them and rehashing them out and stuff. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be really good. So let's talk a little bit about what we did yesterday. So yesterday, we went through every single song in the Myst soundtrack, and we basically wrote out both what the technical side of things and the emotional side of things. And what I mean by the emotional is how it makes the listener feel, because that's extremely important to me as to how I'm going to write the next few pieces. So today, we're probably going to spend a majority of the day working on just our new Myst theme. So let me read this to you because it's probably a little difficult to see. So what I had for the Myst theme as something that was important technically was it's very clear you can hear synthesizers and synth timpani. There's a lot of synth timpani in all of the, pretty much all of the songs in Myst. A lot of strings, a lot of string instruments in this. I wrote drone, and I think we talked about this yesterday. What a drone is, it's just one note that's usually whatever key it's in. For example, this is in B minor. It's just a B. It's one, and it's just held throughout the entire song, or at least for most of the song. And it's not hit repeatedly. It's just held. Starts and it's held, right? We have two different themes or melodies that are kind of going on throughout the song. Not really throughout the song, but like there's a main melody that starts the song, and then there's another melody that will also come up throughout the song. And then I wrote that the timpani is mostly used as fill. It's not just going on throughout the whole song. While stuff's going on, it's not just doom, 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 doom. It's just used as fills a lot of times, or just rolls into the next measure. But that's the technical side of things. And then I wrote out the two. I wrote out the two themes, which were this, and then we're gonna listen to it again. But those were the two main themes, and that was it. Really, that was the only melody that was going on throughout this theme. And then we shifted from that, and we talked more about how do you feel when you hear this, because that's what I'm gonna base my writing on. Because we're not going to just be like, oh, they use timpanis, well, I'm going to use timpanis. No. I may use timpanis, I may not. But ripping it straight from them is not the way to do it. The technical side of things is just kind of like, it's mostly going to be used for just maybe how I can structure my music. Or if there's any patterns that are notable. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you see that there's a pattern in the way that they use percussion, maybe that's something that you should also use. Maybe that's important. Basically, maybe that's important to what they're trying to get across. You know what I mean? Or like if they use a lot of strings, maybe that's important to what they're trying to get across, their message or the feeling that you're supposed to be having from this music. The strings being used often is important for that. So that's kind of where the technical side of things comes into play and makes it so that it's easier to decipher what exactly it is we're trying to figure out or try to get across from the music. But for that, I wrote that it was uneasy. The music sounds uneasy. It's in a minor key, and you wouldn't expect it to be in a minor key. Myst is not like a sad game. I mean, the plot's a little upsetting, but like the actual game itself is not sad. It's not depressing, but it's in minor. So it almost makes you feel uneasy, because the game is just a puzzle game, but it makes you feel uneasy. I also just wrote, same thing, but unsure of what's next, being apprehensive. It's an apprehensive song. It makes you feel just uneasy about what's going to happen here in the future. The other thing that I wrote at the last second, or something I kind of discovered after the stream was over, I'm not sure if I talked about it at the end of the stream or if I found out about this after the stream was over, but I found out that these two themes are the two themes of the two brothers in Myst. And I'm gonna kind of explain that when we're going over this, okay? Which is important because that's something that I want to also relay to my Myst theme, okay? Because I would like two different themes, because there is music for the two brothers, and I have to also create music for the two brothers, which means I have to have a theme for Cirrus and Achenar, and I'd like those implemented into the Myst theme, my Myst theme. So it's the same type of deal. So let's just listen to the Myst theme once through. And then once we do that, I'm going to just kind of shift over to one version of the Cirrus and Achenar theme and show you what I mean when I say that it's the same themes. Okay, so you hear the timpani rolls a little bit there. There's this doom, doom, doom. It's like a synthesized drum. I don't know what type of drum it is, but it's like a synthesized drum. Almost sounds like a tom being hit type of deal. And it's just a poof, 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 throughout the whole thing. You hear the drone, just this, the whole song. And then you hear the two different melodies used with two different synthesizers, right? Now, the first melody is right. You hear that pretty commonly. You hear that it's pretty strong. So here's Achenar's theme, and tell me if you can spot the resemblance. So it doesn't resolve, but that It doesn't resolve to G, but it is there. Right. That beginning with those strings, that's part of the theme, of the Myst theme. And then, listen to Cirrus's theme. I mean, I don't even have to play that much of it. You can hear it right there. Bum, bum, bum. It's in a different key, Ali. All of them are. I think it's like... Same thing as... Just different notes, but it's the same pizzicato strings that the Myst theme had. So they're, they're the same. They drag those two themes straight from there, which is really cool. It's something that's different. They don't do very often. And that's what's so great about this. So what I'm trying to accomplish is getting those two things, those two themes, into whatever my Myst theme is going to be. Okay, so we're gonna, like I said, there's 20 songs in the entire OST, at least the ones that are like important and you can actually write music for. So my goal is to write 20 songs. Now, that may seem like a lot. That may seem like it's going to take a month to accomplish all of that. But really, because a lot of these songs are based off of certain things, once we get about 5 songs in, the rest will be kind of easy, because a lot of it will be taken from those beginning 5 songs. But anyways, the first one and the most important one is the Myst theme that needs to be brought back quite often. So there's a couple things with Myst music that we have to understand. There's a lot of it's very simple. It's pretty free. There's not always a time signature. It's just kind of free, if that makes sense. Like, as an example, like listen to this is the planetary music. Just listen to this. Right, it's kind of out of time. There's not really a time signature for that. And a lot of the music is like that. Even the Myst theme itself, even though it has percussion in it, it's not really completely in time. It's a little ambiguous what exactly that is. So you have to keep that in mind. So that's one thing. A lot of it is out of time. It's pretty simple, a lot of the music. There's no chords really in the whole song, or in the whole game. There isn't really chords. There's just kind of, if anything, 2 moving lines. But most of the time it's, there's like a drone of something being held like this, and then a line with, doesn't change keys almost. I don't think there's any song in the entire Myst soundtrack that changes keys. Like, not from song to song, I'm saying like within the song. Which is a pretty common practice. I mean, I know that there are a lot of songs that don't do that. Like, pop songs are like that. But a lot of songs will change keys at some point, even if it's just for a brief second. I don't think that there's any key changes in Myst. I'm pretty sure it's all just like, they all stay in the same key. They don't ever move. The only one I'm not sure if that's true or not for is the finale song, because that's actually a decently extensive song. The finale song. I also think they added that in either the finale song or the unfinale song, which is the game over song, was added in with one of the remakes. I don't know which one. But anyways. So we're focusing on this. So when writing something like this, it's kind of tough to just say, well, here's the key signature and here's the time signature. Well, maybe not. Key signature's not as difficult, but the time signature would be. We know we're probably going to have to do something like a grand staff, because if we have held notes or something, we want to make sure that that's displayed. This is going to look a lot like this did. This was the space travel music that we did a couple weeks ago, and how there's just this roadmap of stuff. And I mean, some of it I just wrote, play this for 4 measures, play this for 4 measures, play this for 2, stuff like that. I mean, at the very, very bottom, there's just words that describe what you're supposed to do. There's going to be a lot of that. You have to keep that in mind. Because in order to write this, we kind of have to be able to be a little bit more free about things. We don't have to be as strict. Okay? So, I think the most important thing that we have to figure out is, how does our version of Myst want to sound? Is it minor? Is it major? Is it neither? Well, and how simple do we want to make it? Do we want to add some complexity to Myst music? You know, what's the percussion going to sound like? Is that something that we can't completely write out? Okay. How do we want the song to build? So, in my head, I'm thinking, because we're going for an uneasy feeling, right? The chord that we don't want to necessarily be in minor, but we want it to sound uneasy. So, to me, the best way to pull that off is to not have a major and minor. To build chords in fourths. Because building chords in fourths is rare, and it also is, provides pretty uneasy feeling. Think of, for example, this. Okay, this is one of the songs I played. One of the songs I wrote about a week ago, I would say. Let's hold it. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Now that song is in minor, right? It's in C sharp minor. But it moves in a way that you wouldn't expect. Thanks. That was something I wrote about a week ago on stream. And that was supposed to be like this kind of start to a horror game type of thing. And it's uneasy because it doesn't move in the traditional way chords move. It moves kind of weird, right? Those chords are really bizarre. They don't fit really all that well. But I'm like, God, no, I don't know about that, man. And then it moves on from there to now. What is that? Okay, we have this diminished chord, which diminished chords almost always will end up leading to minor. So I'm expecting it to go right, but it doesn't. Yeah, autocorrect. Well, piano's a tough instrument to learn. Well, I always said that piano is easy to learn but hard to master, and no one has mastered piano. It's just crazy. It's a tough instrument. But you hear how it sounds like it's supposed to go there, right? But that's not what I'm doing. Listen to how I'm playing it. So is that minor? Is that major? That sounds happy almost. And then it goes back to this, and then this. which that's just straight up a major chord. So like, what is going on? And then don't really know what that is. And then this. That is, oh man, I really love that. Hot Cross Buns. That's a great song. I never learned Hot Cross Buns as a kid. Like, that wasn't what we were taught as a kid. We were taught something different. But do you hear how odd that sounds? And then it does this. And then somehow gets back to minor. That's kind of the same logic I'm going to go off of for this Myst theme. Okay? Except we're not going to have chords. It's not going to sound quite like that. So the first thing we have to do is we have to pick a key, at least to start it. Right? And we have to pick a theme. We have to pick 2 themes that are going to work with this. I'm glad. I'm glad it sounds good to you. I mean, that's the point. Like, I wanted this to sound creepy and bizarre when I written that. And I wanted it to sound like... So my inspiration from it was Layers of Fear. You ever played Layers of Fear? Layers of Fear has a song at the very, very beginning that that sounds not similar to that, but it's like this. And then it goes into... I don't remember exactly what it is. But I kind of wanted it to be like that, essentially. So this Myst theme that we're going to come up with for the game needs to have stuff kind of like that. Oh geez, I don't even know what all those things are. Anyways, this kind of has to display the same sort of thing. It has to be uneasy, because the actual Myst song is a little uneasy. Oh, emojis. I thought they were like specific emojis. I didn't know that you were just saying in general emojis. But we have to come up with something that is also uneasy. But if you notice the difference between that and like the Myst theme, I'm going to play the Myst theme one more time, okay? The thing about the Myst theme is that it doesn't, it has a little bit of movement to it. This is gospel on the piano. I don't know what that is. Is that like a, is that a song? Oh, it's Panic at the Disco. There's apparently a piano version of it. I'd have to listen to that. I mean, oh geez, you have the. Oh, don't give me the sheet music. I won't use that. I'll just listen to it. Well, let's take a listen real quick.
Their philosophies from pieces of broken memories. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. Cause these words are knives and often leave scars. The fear of falling apart. Truth be told, I never was yours. The fear of falling.
Well, That's actually only a few chords. It's in D major. I think at some point it goes to, it's got a B minor chord in there, and then yeah, let's do it again. Yeah, I literally think that it's 4 chords. I think it's D major, E minor, B minor, and then A major, and then back to D. Pretty sure that's all it is. Thanks for stopping by. If you want to catch me again, you can hit follow. So we gotta get back to this. This is what it is. This is what we're doing today on stream, anyways. What's I gonna say? Oh yeah. So. So we have to come up now with this kind of uneasiness feeling. So where do we want to start? Well, I'm gonna kind of just play around for a bit and play some lines that might fit the bill. Okay. I'm also gonna probably be using a lot of the electric piano sound to give it more of that feeling. So, now this is not the sound that we're going to end up using for this type of thing. I'm just playing this to, I'm just doing this to kind of get you to understand, like, to get you in the mindset. Because if I play it on piano, there's no piano in the entire Myst soundtrack. It's all synths. So I'm playing some sort of synthesizer to get you to kind of get in that mindset in myself. I kind of like that. Because that can go either way. Or that can kind of go either way. So what I'm thinking is, like, whose theme would that be, right? I like that. I like how that sounds. Sounds almost Myst-like. Like that. Sounds pretty Myst-like. Let's just write that down. Might as well. Start something off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just not going to write a key signature for this. No need. We don't really have one. We don't really know what it's going to be. And what we're also going to do is we're not going to write stems on our notes because we don't know how long they're going to be. We're just going to kind of write out like this. I like how that sounds, though. Oh, and then kind of do something like this. And I think we could probably just... We also have to get into the mindset of the fact that these two themes are going to be the two brothers' themes. And the two brothers in Myst, one of them is kind of a sneaky, kind of manipulative. They're both just power hungry. They both are dictators that want to rule over the ages of Myst, right? So they're both pretty power hungry. I would say I would get that mindset from them, but they both just want to do it in different ways. One of them wants to kind of be manipulative, and he's a very froofy, pompous kind of guy who looks down on all of his subjects and wants to be pampered on his way up into a dictatorship. And the other one wants to rule with an iron fist. He's got quite a bit of bloodlust. He's a war type of guy. That's kind of like their attitudes. And actually, we could back this up even more by just typing in both their names. So we type both of them in. And let's just kind of like look. Really? Sirius is the younger one? I'm kind of surprised. I figured it'd be the other way around. He's portrayed as the tricky and scheming brother, highly greedy with refined taste. He tends to speak in a very proper manner. Akinar is portrayed as the crazy and dangerous brother who loves to torture humans and animals alike, and shows dangerous sociopathic tendencies. In Myst, he's portrayed as giggling incessantly. This trait is diminished when seen in Myst 4, where he's portrayed more as a survivor in the wilderness plagued by his solitude. Interesting. So, yeah, basically what I had just said. Sirius is the more scheming one. So to me, this is more Sirius. And it'd probably be pretty quiet, like how I just played that. Right? And so every time you walk into one of his rooms in the game, you hear something similar to that, with maybe a little bit of movement to it. I'm just reading a little bit more about this. See if there's anything else that I can get. Yeah. Prison explains about those destroyed his ages and trapped him and his wife as well. Their greed led them to imprison themselves, and specially designed trap books he had left on this island. Once the stranger finds him the white page and delivers it to Aegis, he can then escape his prison and burn the linking books containing the brothers. Exactly. So, as we said, Sirius being the more tricky, scheming, highly greedy, refined taste brother, and the other one being basically a sociopath. Schizophrenic, kind of. So, I guess it even makes more sense when you hear his theme, that there's kind of, it's very loud. It's extremely depressing sounding. A lot of percussion as well. And then Cirrus' theme. What's crazy too about this is that his theme is also in major, which I would not expect. So when we're playing this, we might want to make it a major key. You know, maybe like because the way that his character is portrayed in the game, is he's just, I guess it's just he's more behind the scenes type of thing, and he's not as lustful for power as say his older brother is in the game. And then for Akinar, we need to make it the theme for him sound more just loud, and definitely it has to be in minor. It has to sound depressing. It has to sound like it basically just has to sound extremely sad, because he's a sociopath in the game. All right, so that's kind of his deal. So if we did something like that, the only problem I have here is that this Myst theme, we have to figure out what key it's going to be in, because maybe later on we can turn this into a song that's in a major. But for right now, we can't. The song has to sound in accordance to the Myst theme, not so much their individual themes. So now we have to come up with something that's a little more specific to Akinar that this can build off of. Right? So let's think. So first of all, I would say if I had to pick like what key we're in or like where we're starting, it seems to me it's like F sharp minor. Or maybe even an F sharp minor major. Oh, that might be a cool place to start. Is a chord like that. You can go a lot of different places with that. And then eventually we do B flat minor or something like that. It's just a really good place to B flat minor is such a harsh sounding minor, and it really defines, like, more so than any other minor. I feel like B flat minor is like really minor. You just hear it. It's just so. It's compared to like any other minor key. It's just not quite as sad. It's just so. I mean, that's the layers of fear thing too. Same exact thing. Yeah. So maybe. did. So. I'm thinking of something. I just have to figure out how to play it. No, not that. No, we can't have triplets. Doesn't sound quite right. I had something going like before. So da 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 da, maybe something like that. I'm just trying to get something similar to this. It's very pretty. It's actually more sparse there. What with that? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. That's not bad. So that's if we were doing this as like 1 and 2 and so it would be like this I have to write because it's going to be a rhythm of some kind. I'll even write rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then this would be like tied. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right. Right, so then this would be like tied like this and tied again like this. Right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. No, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it would be tied to a half note, which is then tied to this and this, which is then tied to this. That kind of thing. Well, actually, we won't repeat it for now. See what I'm kind of going for? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I want to do it on 4. I want to do it on 4. Okay. No, I keep erasing it. I want it to sound how I want it to sound, so I gotta make sure it works. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So then that would then be held over for another. That'd be a half note kind of a thing. And then continue with the line. And basically you're doing it on different beats. Right, so you would just keep doing this on weird beats like this. Because it's going to be out of time, so it's not going to sound like that, but it will be. Point. Right, so that's going on, and now we need something for. Actually, that could be the depending on what the synth is. That could be the older brother, and then we kind of have something more pompous and more upbeat for the younger brother. Maybe not upbeat, but just a little bit more movement. So we get to that, and that's how it'll go. Yeah. Yeah. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. I can't really do with it. That's tough. I have to write that out. That's tough to do with one. But it would basically be da 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 da. And I'm writing that it's like a tie. It's going to be tied to something. But we have these dotted quarter notes that are do, 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 do. So we have to come up with something else. And maybe this would be like. I'm starting to get it. So I don't know. That doesn't sound quite. That just doesn't sound quite pompous enough. Let's do like. I think it has to start on B flat. Okay, because the thing is, would that work here? Nah, that's just too happy. See where I'm struggling with all this? It's just, because this has to be brought back in a later time. Okay, so it has to sound universal. And that just doesn't sound quite like enough. It's not awful. I don't know, it just doesn't. It just sounds like I'm trying to combine it too much with this. Because here's the thing, Sirius's theme has to sound, not only that it mixes with that, at least in this theme part of it, enough. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about it a little too complex. So listen to it again. Listen to the whole theme again. Here's the thing that makes that theme work. The Cirrus part of it does not change the structure that it's in. This thing that I've started, this it has to stay in B flat minor. What I was doing with is almost basically going to different keys and stuff. Well, not going to different keys, but it's changing what I'm doing with the chord. This has to stay within B flat minor. It has to be a little more solidified. I don't know, because I could just do, because that was Sirius's thing, and then. So it's also tough because we don't have any voices that we can use, instruments that we can use. I do like this though. I do like. I like that bass line, and I like. Maybe it just needs to resolve. Maybe it just needs to resolve to B flat. right? And then we would have something else going on underneath it. Well, after a while, we would do that like twice. And then, yeah, let's just have it resolved to something. Let's just attach it. Let's just attach it to a half note right now, and then throw a B flat on the end of it. What I want to know is, where do you hear this in the game? Let me think about this. I'm assuming you hear this in the opening title. I'm assuming you hear this in the opening title. So if that's the case, that's not what I want to see. I am trying to just find Myst opening. Did I type that in? I did. It's Myst. It's Myst. Here's the Myst intro.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed. I must admit, however, such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Well, watching that helped a bit, not gonna lie. The reason why is it gives me more of an idea of what exactly is going on in the game when I'm watching this. And what's interesting is it's a scene of space, and it's a scene of a guy falling through a fissure, a star fissure. Presumably you. So I think it has to have this. Maybe that. Maybe that. Maybe that. So instead, it's like this, tied to this, and this is a flat. So instead of waiting, it's just. So now we have to come up. Okay, so I think that we got something there. I like that too. Kind of just like, so go back to the original Myst thing. Listen to this. that change of key. There's a slight key change kind of thing. And what we can do is this. Right, so. So we kind of, okay, so now we're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. And so let me just write this down quickly. So what I'm playing there is this and this with a sharp. And then I'm playing this flatted and this here flatted and then back to top. Like there. I was going to write a repeat, but like there's no measure lines. Like I'm not writing any measure lines really, so it's kind of tough to do stuff like that. So now let's listen to the Myst theme and where the other theme comes in. Okay. So it actually just kind of briefly goes like this. Alright. So we have this. We have a good start to it, but what we don't have is this middle section that's supposed to sound different, but it also has to be somewhat pretty much in the same key. Maybe. No. So we have. Let's get this out here. so we have that. Something else that needs to be implemented into this. Obviously, too, there's going to be percussion going along with this, I think. Maybe even, like, something in between these two things. I have to think about that. But we're trying to think of another theme or another melody line that can go along with this. And as we said before, that is going to be Akinar's theme in Myst. And now we need to come up with like a theme for Cirrus. So I'm trying to think of something that's, I don't know, something that, basically it has to be something that kind of resembles classical music. And that's kind of tough to pinpoint in something like this. No. It's just not quite right, man. I'm gonna have to, okay, so I'm gonna do something that I will do when I get into this kind of, this point of writing music. I have to just not talk for a little bit and just think and play through some things, okay? So I'm gonna be playing this a bunch, So just let me think about this for a minute and just. You know, I'm almost starting to think, what if that's Akinar's theme, and this is Cirrus's theme? You know? doesn't have to be like that. Maybe these can just... Maybe what this could be is the chords that would be in Sirius's theme. Maybe this could just be the chords that appear in Sirius's theme. Something like that, and then it, if you were to bring this over to, right? I'm just thinking, because if you listen to like Sirius's theme, listen to Sirius's theme in the Myst intros. Right, that's all it is. It's just doom 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 doom. Now listen to Sirius's theme in the actual game. If I can find it. Right, it's a part of it. It's an important part of the actual theme throughout the game, but it's not the main important thing. The rest of it that's going on, with the orchestration coming through, the rolling timpanis, I believe it's the soprano sax sounding thing, or a clarinet. It could be a clarinet. I think it's a soprano sax. The soprano sax sounding thing coming through. That's more important than the bum 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 bum. It becomes more important. So that's just kind of like a piece of what his actual theme is. So if we can do the same thing here, where these chords are just used as it's important, it's still part of his theme, but it's just not like the most important part of it. It's kind of tough to explain exactly where I'm coming from with this. And then Akinar's theme could just be... But these chord changes could be part of Sirius's theme. So we have this. And that'll just continue as the main theme for Myst, right? So it's split like this. Akinar and Sirius. And obviously things are going to be doubled, and it's going to probably be something like... And it'll probably start off just... Now, to be honest with you, it takes a lot of stylistic stuff from the first theme of Myst. We can't get too carried away with changing Myst in itself, because yes, we're making our own music for Myst, but Myst has now been around for 24 years, almost 25 years. Right? Yeah, 1993 is when it came out. Yeah. It's been around for almost 23 years, 24 years. Okay. You cannot just, like, you say, I'm going to write something for Myst, and then all of a sudden just do and say, yep, it fits in Myst. It has to be similar in some instances. Now, this is a little close to it, but that's such a important song in the game that it's tough even if I were to do something like you know, that even if I did it like that, it wouldn't sound like Myst anymore. It has to sound somewhat like Myst. Okay? Which means it has to have the same emotions. And I think that this displays some pretty uneasy emotions. So what we're going to do now is I kind of want to see... let me think. Sorry. This is like flashing and blinking and stuff. Oh my god. Just, ugh. Do I forget. I think I tried to check this once before if I have a stopwatch on here, and I don't think I do. But I feel like I have one in like my settings or like in my tools. I have like a stopwatch thing. I guess I don't. That's weird. And there isn't one on here, huh? There isn't like a stopwatch thing. Nope, there isn't. Because the other thing you want to do is you want to test and see how long this is, right? Okay, here, I'll just use a Google stopwatch. So I'm going to start it at 5 seconds. Okay, and I'm going to play about the length I think it's going to take. 2, 3, 4. About a little less than a minute long song. Interesting. See, I should have used this for other stuff too. Like, real quickly, we're just going to go back 1 second. Very briefly. I just want to play through this. Because I want to see how long this is. Because this is going to be played live. So I'm not going to really have an idea of how long it is unless I time it once. So I'm going to just play through this once. This was something I did last week sometime. I just want to play through it once. And I'm doing the bottom half so I don't have to move it up. And the top half isn't really anything notable. So again, I'm going to start it. Oh no, it's minus 5 seconds, so it's about 50 seconds long. That previous one. I forgot it's minus 5 seconds. This one I can start right on. So. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It's actually longer than I thought it was going to be, which is good, because that means it's better to have a song that's longer than a song that's short. Because you don't want... It's tough to add stuff to songs, I think. It's easier to cut things away from songs. Because you'd be like, I didn't really like that part anyways, cut it away. It's tougher to add stuff. And as an example of what I'm trying to get at here, this is supposed to be based off of the Layers of Fear thing. The Layers of Fear soundtrack, that song in particular, which I think is the... Shit. Is it this one? Nope. Is it just the main theme? That's 1 minute and 35 seconds. And then the other thing that I used as inspiration was this. And that song is 1 minute and 30 seconds. So, it's decently long enough, which is good. I just want to know that for future goings-ons. Okay. So, even though this seems weird, that's it. That's all we need to write for this. We're just repeating it a few times. But those are the themes. That's the bass line that's going to happen underneath it. Oh, jeez. And that's the Myst theme for us. That's our Myst theme. Seems pretty simple. That's all it is. That's all the other one was. This theme is very simple. Again, as an example, the Myst theme is 40 seconds long. Now, the actual video is a minute. How long is the actual video? A minute or so, 1 minute and 30, and that's just 40 seconds essentially doubled. There's also like 10 seconds of nothing. 5 seconds before the second time it plays, and 5 seconds after the second time it plays. And the actual Myst intro video is 51 seconds, and it does not start right away. And that's exactly how long the one that I just did was. And it can. This is something that's really the cool thing about this is this can easily be expanded or cut, and it would not take away much from the game or from the actual song. So I'm going to take a quick break and be back, and we're going to continue writing more stuff for Myst. Yeah, I'll be right back. Also have to grab my sticks because this next one is kind of interesting. It's going to require a lot of percussion. I forgot to mention, there's going to be percussion in this. I don't know what it is yet because I have to listen to some sounds. I just realized. There will be percussion in here, but we don't know exactly what it's going to be because I have to listen to some of the sounds and hear what it is. Probably be decently similar to the original Myst theme, but not quite the same. Okay. So we're going to move on from here. Let's draw a quick line in the sand. And now we're going to do the next one, which is, I believe, it's called Treegate? It is. It's called Treegate. So we're going to listen to that real quick. Okay, and then I believe it just resets. I think it's just 2 times through. That's like a little less than a minute. That song, which is good. Now we know, how long our song should probably be. Because if there's one thing what we're doing while we're rewriting the Myst music that we have to keep, that there's one thing that's structured about it, and one thing that we want to retain. It's how long each song is, because it's supposed to fit in the same place that the original song was in. So our song has to be the same length as this one, pretty much. I mean, it's just a loop. It just loops over and over again, because the point in the game that this comes into play is when you solve the puzzle to get into Channelwood, which is one of the ages in Myst, and you're just standing there looking at the book. So it's really just a matter of whenever you click on the book that you then get transported into the next age. So you're just kind of sitting there waiting, right? So there isn't, in terms of the length of the actual thing, it's just going to be looping. But at least now we know it's about 50 seconds long, the loop, which is good. So it's a 50-second long loop that will just continue to go on. The Myst theme is not like that. The Myst theme has a start and it has an end. And so we have that same thing. And that's about 50 seconds long. The original Myst theme. I think it's a little shorter, actually, than that. Ours is 51 seconds, which I should keep in mind and write as well. Just so that I don't have to keep doing that. It's 51 seconds. So that's a decent length. That'll work. Right. And actually, if you went on YouTube and you looked up the Myst intro, which is where that music comes into play, the actual thing is 51 seconds long. So that works out perfect for us. So now we have to move on to the Treegate music. So what is different about the Treegate music? Well, last stream, we talked about this briefly. And I said, well, first of all, it's the piano and strings thing. This. Has that noise going on in it. Bongos, which makes sense for what is to come. A pretty basic melody. I just kind of explained like where this comes into play. It's in A major. It's in a major key. It should be in a major key because you just solved the puzzle. So if you just solved the puzzle, you kind of want it to be in a major key because it's letting you know you did a good thing. And when stuff like that happens, you play songs in major keys usually. But it's a little undefined because the actual thing doesn't. I don't think it ever plays the third. And then it eventually goes. Oh, because at one point it goes. And then back to the top. So at some point it does actually play that. So the reason the bongos are in place is because if you remember, or if you ever played the game and you know the age, Channelwood. Channelwood is an age with a bunch of trees that used to be inhabited by basically monkey people. And so it was a primitive, like almost tribal sort of culture. So that's where the bongos are coming into play. Okay. So one other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just, because I have the Myst wiki up. See, now it's starting to get loud downstairs, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stream. And just kind of glance over at, I guess, some of the history of it. Jeez, there's a whole freaking thing on the history. It's crazy. Ages ago, humanoids lived peacefully on the surface of the island while the tree dwellers lived above. As a result, the two people don't interact. Right, blah, 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 blah. There was something that made the island sink to the ground, and the humanoids sacrificed themselves in order to stop the collapse, and many of them died. The only place left for those who survived were in the trees, but for some reason they eventually all died out. The tree dwellers worshipped the humans as heroes and or gods, perhaps because of the self-sacrifice to save the island. The last human survivor dwelt among the tree dwellers. That's a lot of dwells. And they were expecting for another like him to come. And blah, blah, blah. He first linked at night and decided to sleep. He was awakened by strangeness. The tree dwellers, once they saw him, they were surprised and started worshipping him. Right, okay. Because this particular age has a lot of backstory and history to it. And not all the other ages do. So, yeah, I got my sticks out for this so that we can kind of get a beat going for this, because this is going to need to be done. We have to make it sound tribal, this thing. Okay. And also the thing about this is it's extremely basic. There's not much to it. The melody isn't really the important part. The important part is this bongo thing going on. One other thing I should mention, and I'm going to do this before we continue. You'll notice that, for the most part, I'm trying to maintain the same tempos, and there's a reason for that. Even though most of the stuff is out of time and there isn't really any, like, time signature, there is still some beat or tempo going on in a lot of the songs, especially the first one. And I want to maintain that because Myst is the type of song that you can't really change the tempo. Like, if you were to change the tempo to, like, a faster tempo, it just wouldn't fit with it. Myst is very, like, it is, I'm taking on, like, a really stupidly hard task of rewriting Myst music because it's already fits the bill so well that it's tough to change things. So what I'm basically just trying to do with all this stuff is give my own kind of take on it, essentially, if that makes sense. Because it's not easy to have to rewrite something like this. So I'm trying to kind of get my own take on it, essentially. So changing the tempo, I think, would be bad. I think we want to maintain the tempo a little bit, at least for the most part. I don't think we want to speed anything up or slow anything down. I think that would be. I think that it would come dangerously close to not sounding like Myst if we did that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my only gripe about that. So this particular song does kind of have it's got a beat, right? It doesn't really have a temp. It doesn't have a time signature, but it has a beat. Let's do it again. So it doesn't really have like a time signature because if you hear the melody comes in on many different spots. The melody never comes in at like the same time. There's just kind of this. And then a timpani roll just every once in a while just. So we have to make it sound a little tribal, this music. Primitive, tribal, drumming music, right? So, how do we do that? Well, all I have are sticks. I don't have bongos. So what we can do is hit two different surfaces to get the bongo-ish feel. So, So this type of thing would have to be written out a little differently. But I definitely think we need to maintain the percussion going on in the song. Just we can change it up to something a little different, maybe. But this we can change. That could be different. I think it has to be similar in the way that it moves. You know, it has to be the same sort of length. It doesn't have to be the same key signature. It doesn't have to be any of that stuff. That's not bad. It's still major, just it sounds like maybe it's more curious sounding. Maybe something like that, and then we can kind of go like. So. See, this is kind of stuff you have to do to improvise on what exactly you're going to write, so that you can kind of figure it out, so it makes more sense. Right. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Boo-doo-doo-doo. Okay. You kind of get what I'm going for? So I'm kind of doing like or maybe not quite like that, but that doesn't sound quite as tribal, but keep listening. It's also got those timpani rolls that are going on in it, right? And it's got right sort of thing, and I'm going. Now, to be honest with you, I've never really written percussion music before, so I don't really know how I would write this. I guess I would just put X's. Boom, 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 boom. Or boom, 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 boom. to kind of imagine that it's being played on bongos, and it's tough to do. So I think for right now, the percussion stuff. Maybe something like this. Doon 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 doon. Dig-a-doon doon. Dig-a-doon doon. Dig-a-doon doon dun 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 dun. Dig-a-doon doon. One dun dun dun. Dun dun. Dig-a-doon. Something like that. You know what I mean? That's how you would write percussion stuff, is like with an X, or you would write it with like a dash or something. And I'm doing doon 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 dig-a-doon doon 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 dig-a-doon doon 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 dig-a-doon doon 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 dig-a-doon. Something similar to that. Okay? And up top we have maybe just every once in a while, just kind of this, just build on it. Or I guess with piano and strings. That kind of thing, right? And the way that we're going to write this out is like this. And then write it again, like same exact thing. And then just kind of build off of it. Oh wait, no, it's not an F sharp. It's just an F natural. Oops. Oops. Don't want to do that. Right? And then maybe do it again. Maybe. I'll just write one more as an example. These are just kind of examples of things that we can do. Do this. I wrote that out wrong. It's like this. This. Like that, right? These are just examples, etc. Because it has to be decently long. Because what we have right now with this is not quite long enough, right? Here. So I'll kind of try to do this. Ready? Right, sort of a thing. You know, if I did it that fast with that much going on, that's like a little less than 30 seconds from when I just stopped there, which is fine. We just would have to continue to develop these into something that's gonna stay the same basically, and then it would be okay. But yeah, but I think that's like just a solid effort to start with. It's tough to do because, like I said, this kind of thing is not easily. I'm pretty sure this is the third one. Time is it 9:10? I may have to wrap things up here today. Yeah, it's been about 2 hours, I think. It's So I think we're going to wrap things up here for today with this, because this is going to be a long one. It's going to take a while. But thank you guys for coming out if you did. If you haven't already, please hit follow. Keeps me going. Keeps me wanting to play for you guys and write music on stream. Again, it was my fault that we started late, like really late, and just changed the stream to an evening stream. So we're starting the 9 a.m. initiative for myself, which is every stream starts at 9 on the weekdays, 100%. No matter what, I just gotta muscle through it. I gotta deal with it, and so we're gonna change that. So tomorrow, 9 a.m. Be back. Not gonna take no for an answer. Just gonna do it. Got to start getting in that mindset of doing it, and I think we'll be fine. So yeah, again, like I said, thanks for coming out if you had. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to continue working on this kind of stuff. And thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.